Hello, my name is Kevin Anderson, and today we're going to talk about how to hold a productive meeting, making what you say count. A little bit about myself. I've spent the last 25 years in construction. The last 15, I've been in the supervisory managerial role, and I've had to hold meetings such like this through staff meetings and also through the game box meetings, what we call our field meetings that we have out with the employees, where they can, provide input. We can discuss safety hazards and can discuss ongoing factors to the job. Um, Now, what exactly is a productive meeting? Well, according to the freedictionary.com, productive is anything that is yielding favorable or useful results. Now, a meeting that generates these type of results, or generally you're having a staff meeting. In my worldview, the staff meeting tells where you're at, how far you're away from your goals. It divides trades up individually so that each one knows where the other one is, so that we're not stepping on anyone's toes. Everybody's working in unison together. Uh, Gang box meetings. These meetings are useful and productive because they uh, tell where we are on an individual standpoint. From an employee, they know exactly where they're working in their area, how far are they away from being done, what hazards have they seen, and how has the environment changed since they've been here last time. Those are what we call favorable and useful results because it tells us a little bit about where we're at and where we're going. Today we're going to discuss some topics. Those topics being: is the meeting necessary? Um, is it really necessary to have such a meeting? Preparation. You want to be prepared. Punctuality. You want to be on time, finish on time. Seating arrangement. Can everybody see? Breaks. Are they necessary? What's your time frame? Staying on topic. Your speech. Can everyone hear? Audience participation. Are they willing? And then finally, we're going to talk about what is the proper way to end the meeting. First of all, we're going to talk about, is the meeting necessary? Okay, is it really necessary? Is this something that can be resolved between a couple of people within the office or a couple of people on the staff that can take care of the issue, or is it really necessary to set everyone down and stop what you're doing and have a meeting? Is this something that can be addressed in a daily or weekly staff meeting that you can just incorporate into that? Um, what is the purpose of this meeting? People are going to want to know why they're there. What are you doing? Why are you stopping me from what I'm doing? Come to your meeting. What's the purpose in your meeting? Um, a good rule of thumb that I've seen in the construction industry, safety. Now, there's a good purpose for a meeting, and that purpose is a purpose to stop. You want to. We use a term in the railroad now that we call stop the line. You stop what you're doing. You get everybody together. You have a meeting on it, and because safety can affect lives, that's a purpose. That's a purpose that will stop. Because if you're talking about someone's life there, you want to stop what you're doing. You want to resolve the issue. You want to correct the issue. You want to make sure that everything's good. That's a good purpose. That's why. That's why you would call your meeting. Secondly, be prepared. If you're out, if you're just having that meeting and it's not safety related, it's not something that's immediate attention, then you want to research this, research your topic. Be prepared to research and know what you're talking about when you're there. Also, rehearse. And I use this one because you know research and rehearse are two very crucial things to conducting a meeting. Know what you're talking about, and rehearse what you're going to say over and over again. Now, there are times that you're going to rehearse over and over again, and you feel like you have it. You're going to stand up in front of those people, and you're going to lose what you had. That's okay. That just lets everybody know you're human. Things like that do happen. You can rehearse all day and still not perform at the level that you feel like you should. Just remember that it's okay to do that. Your room setup. You want to arrive at least about an hour early. You want to look over your room. You want to make sure that everything's adequate. If you have visual aids, are they there? If you need a computer, is it there? Is it plugged in? Do you have a screen? Uh, do you have, or will you need an extension cord? Or what about a pointer? What about a board with markers? Dry erase. What are you going to need for your meeting? Is it there? Is it in place? Is it where it needs to be? If you're in need of audio uh, and microphones, are they there? Are there batteries in? Is everything hooked up and the speakers set in place where the audience can hear? The entire room can hear from the speakers. Those are things you want to look at. Another thing about being prepared is you want to be passionate about what you're speaking about. Are you really helping? You get people that stand up there in front of them and they're just talking, they're going through the motions. They're not passionate about what they're saying. They don't have a feeling of a sense of helping, a sense of giving people knowledge to empower themselves. That's a lot. That says a lot in a meeting, that you're passionate about what you're speaking about. And you speak with some authority. You talk about these things and you talk about them with such conviction that they want to know more about what you have to say. So being prepared has everything to do with research, rehearsal, understanding where your room is and how it's set up, and then speaking with passion and authority. Punctuality is another one you want to look at. Be on time. Always be on time. Start that meeting when you say you're going to start it. You're going to have people there. Let's say you had a room, let's say 50 people showed up for your meeting. You're supposed to be there for your meeting. You have a big room reserved, and you got 50 people, and you look up. You're supposed to start this meeting at 8 o'clock, and you got 25. You start that meeting. Those other 25, they don't need to be there. They don't need to hear what you have to say. They can come in late. They might get what you're saying. They might not. But the 25 that are there, you need to be considerate of their time. They showed up on time. They got there, and they by some means they got there. So they either have things they need to do after your meeting, or they have things that are very crucial to them. So we consider their time to get them in and out, get them the information they need and get them out. People like me, late at these meetings start late. In fact, that's right up our alley. We'll roll in there late every time. But don't ever hold a meeting just for a few late people. Always start on time. And let attendees know when you're going to wrap it up. Let's get toward the end of that meeting. You need to say, hey, we're going to be done here in a few minutes. This is the last thing I'm going to tell you. We're going to talk about this, and then it's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up. And my preacher always says, hey, one last thing before we go, and then he'll talk, and then, he'll say something else. Hey, when he speaks, I try to listen because I love what he has to say. Your seating arrangement, you want to make sure that you have an open area. I use what is called a horseshoe. Now I put tables in a horseshoe, I put chairs in a horseshoe shape around in the middle of the room, and I put chairs on the outside of the table. That allows me to walk freely up in between where the attendees are sitting, and I can become face to face with the attendees. They can all see my visual aids. They can all look at what I have to. I want to make sure there's no obstructions from anyone, whether they be tall or short or however you want to look at it physically in stature. Make sure that they can see, no matter what. I use the term tall people in back, because there's nothing more frustrating than having to look through the back of someone, look around someone because you can't see what's happening. So tall people in back, this avoids all that with that open room, and plus it gives you time to walk up and be one-on-one with your attendees. The tables, they provide ways for people to take notes if they want to. They can sit there, they don't have to worry about writing on their knees or a clipboard. They can use the table to take their notes and write down everything you say. Because a lot of times, the most pertinent information you'll find won't be in the slides and the handouts. It'll be what comes from your mouth that day. And so they want to write that down. They want to understand that. Breaks are another big one. Breaks are generally determined by the length of the meeting. Now, if you have a meeting that lasts an hour, breaks generally don't happen. If your meeting is going to be an hour or more, let's say 2 hours or longer, yeah, you want to have frequent breaks. I like to have a break every 50 minutes. Do 10-minute break every 50 minutes. It gives people time to get up, stretch their legs, do what they need to do, check their phone messages and their emails, and do it all or on their kids or whatever they have to do. It gives them ample time to do that. Bathroom breaks, refill coffee, whatnot. Coffee and snacks are another good thing to have uh, for your breaks and for your meeting. You know, I know people. I'm one of them. If you got coffee and you got snacks, I'm coming. I don't care what you have to say. I'm never listening. So that's a good thing to have. It draws people in. Always ask. If you're running a meeting, you're going to be 2 hours, and you ask your attendee, you say, look, we got one or two options here. Finish. We can take our break in 50 minutes, and we can go the full 2 hours, or we can skip the break and we'd be done in an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. And let them make that decision, but you stick to your word. If you're going to be done in an hour and a half, and you tell them that they're going to skip their break, be sure you're done. Whatever you have to cut your material short. But make sure you're done in that hour and a half. Stay on topic. Okay, limit the storytelling. I could stand all day and tell stories. But that's not what this is about. This is about your topic, talking about your topic only. So limit that storytelling. Answer questions as they come. Don't wait. If someone has a question, they might forget later. They might really they might really need that answer. So answer them as they come. Just know when is enough to say when, because you need to keep that meeting rolling for those that they got there on time or for the sake of finishing on time. And understand how to be cordial in telling someone to hold that thought. Some people are going to want to talk, and they're going to want to share with you on a topic, and you're going to have to be able to say, I really do want to hear what you have to say. Right now, we have to get on with our meeting. Can you hold that thought? And I really would like to hear more about what you have to say. And just keep this meeting rolling. That way you have the consideration of all involved there. Your speech. You don't want to be too loud. You don't want to be too soft. You want to be somewhere in the middle. You want everybody to be able to hear you, but you don't want to have that annoying voice that nobody wants to listen to. Your accents. If you have an accent like me, I'm a Texas draw guy. You want to be able to speak to your audience in their language, or without that accent if possible. You want to be able to use words they understand. So when you're speaking, be sure you're speaking to your audience in their language. With today's globalization and the way things are going, we're meeting on the internet more, we're talking to more people from different cultures. They don't understand the same things a lot of times. Cultures have a way of creating barriers within languages. So we want to be able to understand who we're talking to so that we can talk to them the appropriate way, because I know what I'm saying. What I want to do is I want you to know what I'm saying, and the way for you to understand what I'm saying is to speak the way that you understand it. And that'd be your language. Uh, if you're a soft speaker, use that microphone, like we talked about earlier. Set up that audio equipment and use that microphone so that people can understand what you're saying. Because it's nothing worse than not being able to hear. What do you say? What do they say? That's a common thing. Don't have that happen in your meeting. And I recommend don't get one of those handheld microphones, because that's going to do a couple of things. First of all, in the first 5 minutes of that meeting, you might be standing there shaking. You don't want to stand there shaking. And you don't want them to see people shake. You don't want people to see you shake. And also, if you have visual aids that you have to hold up with your hands, you want to be able to use 2 hands to do that. You don't want to be standing there holding a microphone and having the visual aid under your arm. You want to make sure that you have your hands free. So I suggest one of those little microphones that come across here, you put on your ear, and you have a little thing in your mouth, and then you speak into it, and everything's good. So that's what I suggest. If you're a soft speaker, you feel like you need that microphone, that's what I would use. And your monotone. Use various tones. Keep people on their toes. That way, show some excitement about what you're speaking about in certain areas. That way they get to going. Uh, Participation. You want to know your audience. You want to know who you're speaking to. Whether you're speaking to a group of fifth graders or whether you're speaking to a group of mid-level managers, know who you're talking to. Like I say, use their language. Always ask questions. You see someone there, ask them. If you feel like that, then if they don't want to answer your question, or if they don't know, or don't force it out of them. Encourage. but never force. So always encourage feedback. If they don't want to give it, don't make it. Move to the next guy or the next lady. Move somewhere else to let them, to ask another person if they want to. But encourage feedback. Always ask questions. Last, we're looking at ending our meeting. Now, when you end your meeting, you want to make sure you leave enough time for questions. People are going to have questions. They're going to want to know, about this or about that, and they want to jot down some last minute things. They might want to know how to get a hold of you. They might want to know when your next meeting's going to be. They might want to know anything. Leave time for them to ask those questions and get those answers. That's very important that you do that. That's another consideration factor. And also at the end of the meeting, you want to hand out something I like to call an evaluation sheet. It grades you. It grades the person conducting the meeting. Now, who better to grade that person conducting the meeting than the people they're speaking to? Now, if you hand this evaluation sheet out, you better be prepared for whatever comes back. If you've got 20 people saying the same thing about you, you might want to look at that. Now, I'd take about 15 minutes out of each day and I'd work on that at least. If anything else, I would try to understand it. It's not for you to get your feelings hurt. It's for you to find out where you are, how good a speaker you are, how well you conduct your meetings. You're going to have those out there that's going to tell you anything off the ball, but you've got to be able to understand what you can listen to and what you can't listen to. So you'll be able to determine that with your evaluation sheets. Always hand those out. Like I say, finish early if possible. Finishing early frees up people. They have free time to themselves. And a lot of people in today's world, we're so busy, we're out there, we're always run, go, go, go. We very seldom have free time for ourselves. Finishing early allows that little bit of free time to sit and relax and maybe just breathe and just do whatever that we do in our free time to maintain. So finishing early allows others to do that as well. So that's always a good rule of thumb is try to get it done as early as possible. So today from this meeting, you should have taken a few things out of this meeting. You should look at your preparation. Do you know what you're talking about? Have you rehearsed? Have you set up the room? Is it ready to go? Is the meeting necessary? What is your purpose? You want to make sure you're punctual. You're on time. Who cares if the attendees aren't? It's not your problem. You need to start on time for those that are there on time. Your seating arrangement. Can everyone see? Can everyone hear? Very crucial that they can do that. Breaks. Or do you need them? Maybe not. Staying on topic. Very good. You don't want to wander off somewhere and then have people chasing butterflies. That's not a good idea for a meeting. Your speech. Make sure you're speaking the language that they can understand. You don't want to talk too slow. You don't want to talk too fast. You want to talk in a normal tone that shows respect. You want to be able to use languages that they understand. Watch your accents if you have them. Work on those. Rehearse. Participation. Ask questions. To your audience. Encourage them to talk back to you. Know who you're speaking to. And finally, the evaluation sheets. That's going to tell you who you are and where you are in your speaking ability, because people will grade you and they will let you know exactly how good you are and what you do. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for being here. I look forward to meeting with you again. Again, my name is Kevin Anderson. Thank you very much.